Hey guys, welcome back. Today we've got a bit of a different debate. It's not Marvel or Disney, it's a Harry Potter debate. So today's debate is, does being sorted into Slytherin mean you are more likely to become a bad person? So we've got Ellie saying that no, it doesn't, and Grace is saying yes, it does. So should we get on with the debate?
From watching all the Harry Potter films, because I haven't read the books, I was a lazy child, but from watching all of the films, I think that every single student who was put in the Slytherin house have all become bad, and there are some there are some things that you notice from these kids. So for example, I'm going to tell you some things that you do see someone who's in Slytherin. And to start off, they are rule breakers. So they tend to be a bit sneaky. They tend to jump through loopholes. So for example, we all know the bully, Mouthboy. Is that how you pronounce it, Malfoy? Yeah. And he tends to sneak around trying to bully Harry and his friends, or trying to get them into trouble. So that's a key thing a Slytherin does. And it's like Umbridge, that creepy.
I hate her.
No one likes. Jesus. But yeah, so she was going to break a key rule by torturing her students, and she's a Slytherin. So that's a thing everybody needs to know about. And another point, they can be very judgmental, and they also prejudice towards the other students. So like Hermione, because she was born with Muggle parents, he instantly calls her mudblood, like she's some kind of like a bad apple from a bad tree. And that's a basic thing in Slytherin, and we see that a lot. And another thing is that they got hungry for power, and this has proven a lot. Malfoy is trying to impress his father, trying to show he's better than everyone. Lord Voldemort, he's just trying to kill every wizard, every person he sees, just so he could be the most powerful one ever. There's no doubt about that. So they're being quite powerful. They got a great sense of achievement in trying to get what they want. And they treat others with disrespect. And they think of the whole, they put their own lives at first. They put their own goals ahead of others, no matter what the costs. They're also very arrogant. Another point, because I'm listing a lot of points here.
Right, I'll go.
I think we all agree that they're selfish, and this is what things about being Slytherin, because we all know that Gryffindor and Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, they're quite caring towards one another, but Slytherin does the opposite. I mean, they can be more independent from themselves, and that could be a good thing for trying to achieve their own goals, but they're less likely to play like the good guy in a situation. They're less likely to help out others where they would tend to help themselves first, if that makes sense. And another point, they are absolutely cruel. And you probably say, not all of them, but yes, they are. And it kind of runs in the family, like Malfoy. So everyone in his family has been a Slytherin, and it kind of goes down from father to son, repeating their cruel methods towards people, and also, and there's not one of them isn't a good wizard. They're all agreeing to learn about like dark arts, magic, that thing. And it's like what Ron Weasley said in the first film to Harry, like, there's not a single witch or wizard who went bad who wasn't in Slytherin. That just proves my point that anyone in Slytherin, anyone who is in the house of Slytherin, is going to become a bad person.
Hey, so what the traits are for Slytherin is that they're ambitious, they're cunning, strong leaders, and very achievement-oriented people. So just because they have these qualities doesn't necessarily make them bad. Hufflepuffs are loyal and kind, but that's just more their personality traits, just the same as Slytherin. Being a strong leader and cunning doesn't necessarily mean you're going to turn out to be a bad person. You just got sorted into that house because your personality matches that more. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person on the inside. It just means that you're going to surround yourself with people who are more like you by being in that house. And why, yes, most of the people that we see that are in Slytherin do turn out to not do great things. Oh my God, take a deep breath. Most of them do turn out to do bad things and stuff. They almost all of the ones that we know do turn it around. We've got Snape, who devoted his entire life basically being a double agent for Dumbledore because of his love for Lily. Even though he did bully children, which I'm not too much on, but he's got a very traumatized past because of Harry's dad, and they were all in Gryffindor. So even they were doing bad things as well, but they were in a different house. So it shows that it doesn't matter what house you're in, you can still be a bully. But yeah, he bullied kids. We're not really happy about that one, but we'll let him go because he's a bit traumatized from the past. And in the end, he does turn around and sacrifice his life for Harry and for the greater good, so that Voldemort will be killed. Draco does the same. You don't see it in the movies because they actually cut off his bit of redemption, but he throws Harry his wand when Voldemort and Harry are fighting at the very end. And it's the reason that Harry wins, because he gets his wand back and he chooses the right side at the end of the day. I think he saves him. Yeah. He saves him, I think, another time as well when he's got his face all bruised up when Hermione done that jinx when they get captured by Bellatrix. And he knows it's them, but he doesn't tell them it's them. So he keeps his identity a secret. So even though he was, again, a bully, he was raised that way to think that anyone who wasn't of pure magic blood is completely worthless and a bad apple, like you said. But he soon learns that Hermione, even though she is a Muggle-Born, she does so much better than him. She's on par to him in every way, and he learns that. And the end of it, when they're at the very, very end of the movie, last one, he's at the train station and he nods and respects them all, and they're on good terms because he chose the right side. Slughorn as well was a Slytherin who chose good. He helped Harry in every way he could. He was with the teacher who taught potions after Snape. I'm not quite sure where Snape was.
Yeah, it was in the Half-Blood Prince, wasn't he?
Yeah. Okay. He teaches Harry all his potions. He teaches him like what to do. He protects him. He takes him to Hagrid's hut when he needs it. He's there to support him, whatever he needs. And it just shows that even though she's showed us all of these horrible people in Slytherin, we don't actually get to see the house other than them being horrible and then getting redemption. So not all people in Slytherin are pure bloods. There are some Muggle-Borns in there. But we don't get to see that other side because she wanted Slytherin to be seen as a bad house, even though she changes her opinion at the end of all the books and all the films, because all the people she's introduced as bad turn good, if that makes sense.
If I have to argue one thing,
yeah,
I do remember you telling me that Snape did call Lily a mudblood during their childhood, so he was still quite, I understand he was still in love with her during the time, but he was still quite a bit mean to her, even though she wasn't quite being really mean to him. So that's, I think to me that he kind of is following his footsteps into, like, I do agree with you, there are ambition, and like they're trying to achieve their own goals. They're very they've got great leadership skills, but I think they take that onto a darker path. Like some take it the wrong way, they don't take it the right way, and I think that what makes them like kind of like bad role models, like Voldemort or Snape.
Yeah, the house is orientated towards the dark arts. They're literally locked away in the underground dungeons for their house. They've been set up basically for failure and evil. They've got everyone there like shunning them away, haying on them because of them being in that house. But the people who she showed us showed that even though they were in that house and they did begin to act that way, they turned it around at the end of the day, and they stopped the evilness that they were beginning to follow down that route. When the Battle of Hogwarts is happening, McGonagall actually locks the Slytherins away in the dungeons.
Yeah,
and
she knew they were bad. That's why she sent them away.
No, she didn't lock them away because of that. She locked them away because she knew that they would be a good asset for help. She knew that they told us they wanted to help, but she wouldn't want them to turn around and have to fight their family, because she knew that would be the case. So she saved all those children from basically being killed by their family and everyone they knew.
Can I give you a list of like those who are in Slytherin and who became really bad people?
Mm-hmm.
So like the Malfoy family. So the dad, Lucius. So when he first introduced in the second film, Chamber of Secrets, he had like a ambition to ruin Ron's father, Arthur Weasley's career, and he also kind of teaches his son Draco like be on top of everyone else, because during the whole film series we see Draco looking down on like people with Muggle parents and or like half parents. He's constantly harassed Hermione for being a mudblood, and he's also criticizing the Weasleys for being poor, for being a poor family. So I just think I think they have like a huge prejudice towards those who they think is below them.
And I agree that Draco, when he was younger, didn't tend to do the best things. He was taught and raised that way. But as soon as he realized that he was wrong, and once he'd grown up out of those childish beliefs, and once he realized that in the real world it's not like that, he did turn his attitude around. In The Cursed Child, Harry's son and his son are actually best friends. It just shows that he didn't teach his kid to be like that. He changed his ways, and he taught him that everyone's equal. Narcia as well, the Draco's mom, actually saves Harry. She's the one that goes to check if Harry's dead, and then proceeds to see that he's alive and tells Voldemort he is dead. Voldemort trusts her belief and her truth, so he takes his body to Hogwarts, and then Harry's able to try again and have a second go at Voldemort.
Okay, I'm just thinking that I haven't read the transcript or seen the play of The Cursed Child, but I know a friend who did, and she said like it wasn't as good as the original books and all that. Like the whole characters changed, like their personality was completely different from the original. So I'm just thinking like maybe like Draco's like personality, like maybe he has changed. I'm not sure, but maybe it didn't really fit well like from the original. So I'm not 100% sure if the play
it would be accurate enough.
And another one, and I think you will agree with me, is Dolores Umbridge.
Oh, I hate that
because she is the craziest psychopath woman who's ever introduced in the film, and because she's corrupt, she's brutal, and she's manipulative. So she's really she just bullies her. She bullies her students much worse than Snape.
Yeah, she's worse than Voldemort. She tortures kids. Like when they're not doing things wrong, she has the quill.
She's also not teaching
into their skin.
And you can see that she's also like we see in the Deathly Hallows Part 1 that she was in the because she was in a call with a Muggle-Born witch, and she was accusing her of like stealing magic. So she was doing much worse with adults and with as much she was with kids. And she was going behind, and because she's in that position of power, she could do whatever she likes. So maybe when she was young, she was ambitious. She was trying to aim herself for power in politics. But
I mean,
then,
she
like,
got it in the end, but
yeah,
she
she
just
did because she took
abuses
it
it.
in a dark path. She took it in the
Yeah.
wrong way, and she's using that to trying to control a friendly environment in a school and turn it into the embodiment of her wicked soul. And it's really corrupt. It's really mental.
Yeah, there's no excuses for Umbridge. She's a worse villain than Voldemort is. She's got no reason for any of it. At least Voldemort has his like reasons behind it. He wants to take over the wizarding world. He wants to live longer than any other wizard and all of that rubbish. Not that I'm agreeing with it, but at least he has a path. She doesn't even have a path. She does this out of her own pure enjoyment because she's losing a couple of screws. But she's not the only bad wizard that we see. There are bad wizards in other houses. So there's Peter Pettigrew in Gryffindor. The reason that Harry's parents died, he
No, no,
was
no, no,
best
no.
friends
That's
with
not.
James.
That's. I was thinking of that, and I know Peter did betray the family, but he was he was sort of manipulative. He was trapped by, I think it was Voldemort or Death Eaters, and they kind of persuaded him to be on their side.
At the he chooses Voldemort's side because he offers him all of these things. He's with Voldemort before he gets trapped and everything.
So that wasn't
He
exactly his
chooses their
fault.
side.
Voldemort was the one that was luring him away.
But
Because he's a
still
Slytherin. That's what
he
Slytherins
still
do. They're
chose
sneaky. They're bad.
he still chose to go with Voldemort and kill two of his closest, bestest friends, that pretty much the only family he has, because of riches and power. But he's not a Slytherin, he's a Gryffindor, but he still chooses to go towards that path. He still chose to he revealed the location of his friends. He got them killed. He nearly got the baby killed. He got Sirius locked away for years and years in Azkaban, which is the worst prison you can go to because it's got not Death Eaters, but yeah, Death Eaters there as well. The weird, I've forgotten what they're called.
Yeah, those
Dementors.
Dementors, yes.
Yeah, it's covered in Dementors that make you literally lose your brain. They suck out your souls. They suck out every part of you, and he still he was alive through all of it. Peter was alive through all of it, but he still let Sirius take the fall. He still made Sirius get taken to Azkaban. He made him think that he killed James, Lily, and Peter himself when he was around hiding as the rat in Ron's family to get more information behind it. And then as soon as he was like scurrying in and out, trying to like find ways for himself to raise the Dark Lord, he's the one that raises Voldemort in the end. He gets Harry's blood, takes away everyone's trust again, and nearly gets them all killed. Bear in mind, at the end, he does turn good, kind of. He sacrifices his life for Harry once he realizes what he's done.
But when was this?
He's still in the books. He still like completely loses and risks everything. As a Gryffindor, he betrays everyone's trust. He chooses the dark path. He dies because I think it's when Harry and Hermione are sneaking into that house, and Voldemort has given him a new arm for sacrificing his own to bring him back to life, basically, or a new hand, one of the other. And when he realizes he's helping Harry, the hand turns on him, and he basically makes him kill himself because he's betrayed him. So
Yikes.
trigger warning. But yeah. He was still a bad person, even though he was a Gryffindor, and it just shows that no matter what house you're in, you can still turn down the dark path if given the correct push towards it, I guess.
Yeah, unless you're persuaded by a Slytherin to have any powers or riches beyond your wildest dreams.
True, he was a Slytherin that persuaded him, but that doesn't mean it would have been any different if.
No, but if Voldemort hasn't got Peter involved, then Peter wouldn't have done it. So technically, it was a Slytherin's fault.
True, but it was a Gryffindor that betrayed them.
Yeah, because it was persuaded by a Slytherin.
This is just going to go round and round. A very dark and powerful Slytherin, yes, but that's still a guilty, not brave Gryffindor.
Okay. I'm not going to go argue because we're going to go around in circles.
Okay.
So another person who is a Slytherin and is probably as worse as Umbridge is Bellatrix. Now, she has been in that prison, Azkaban, and she has tortured and killed many, many people. And she is a Malfoy, I think. Well, like she's a sister-in-law of the Malfoy.
She's a black, so she's Sirius's sister.
All right, and she has killed Sirius Black.
No, that might be wrong.
No,
I think they're cousins, actually. Yeah, she's a Malfoy.
She has tortured Hermione, murdered Sirius Black, and Dobby. Oh God, that ripped my heart out when that scene happened. And she's also destroyed like the Weasleys' home, like during the wedding, I think. And she's just a mental witch who needs help. And so she's a Slytherin, and she followed the basic like ingredients for a Slytherin. She's cruel, she's selfish, she's got hungry for power, because in the Deathly Hallows Part 1, when we see her join the table with Lord Voldemort, she begged him if she can kill the boy because she's got a thirst for blood. Anything to say about that, Ellie? Or
no, she's the same. But the only thing with her is that there's no excuse for it. Obviously, she's still bad. She's still all of this. Basically, worships Lord Voldemort. She's obsessed with him. She loves him so much that she's willing to like prove everything she can do anything he will ask, or anything to prove herself worthy. And she's still bad, and that doesn't excuse anything she does at all, but she still does that.
I was just thinking, spoiler alert, didn't they have like a kid in The Cursed Child?
That I'm not too sure about. Okay, with The Cursed Child, I read like half the book and I haven't read the rest, or the script anyways, which is bad. But it wouldn't surprise me if they did. I don't quite know because they both die. So
how the hell could they have time to?
Yeah.
It would be weird.
I don't know when that happens. Maybe it does happen, but I don't know when. So yeah.
Another Slytherin, and I'm not sure if you might know her. Her name was Pansy, I think. Pansy Parkson. Like she was a friend of Draco, and so from her description in the film, she is a mean spirit child who bullied and teased Gryffindor students as much as other students in general. And so like Draco, they like to harass Harry and his friends in many ways they can. And there was also this scene where she would go to length into trying to get rid of Harry through death. So like in the Deathly Hallows Part 2, when we hear Voldemort's voice in Assembly Hall, where he tells the students to give up Harry and he will spare them. After that, it's gone silent. And is it Pansy?
Yeah.
Pansy. I don't know why. I thought I keep saying Pansy, like some saying it wrong. But she was the first one that spoke up, and she said, "Do it. Someone grab him." So she was actually gonna give up this child to die.
I don't think it was more of a spiteful, horrible, do it, grab him, get him killed. It's more of a, I am terrified, I'm a kid as well. If we sacrifice this one person, he'll let us all be safe. We'll all live. I'll live. And although that's horrible, she's still a kid as well. So she was terrified. She knew that if she stayed in that castle, knowing Harry was there, she was going to be killed.
But what you just said, like, I live. That's like saying,
yeah,
like,
I live.
Focusing on
Exactly.
herself. That's a Slytherin. They focus on themselves instead of others.
It's true, but anyone in that case would probably be the same. I'm not saying anyone, but most people would be like, we can hand Harry over and I'll be safe. My friends will be safe. My family will be safe, because her family are on the dark side as well. So Voldemort, knowing that she's in there, could turn around and kill her whole family for keeping Harry hostage, like not hostage, but safe. He'd kill all her friends, all the people she'd grown up around. They'd destroy the castle, the whole place that she'd grown up in. She herself would die. And bear in mind, they're only like 16, 17 at this time, so they're still children. She's still thinking, I'm terrified. This dark, evil wizard is going to come in here and kill me if I don't hand over this boy.
Okay, I kind of get that now. Still, you wouldn't want to, like, you want to figure things out before you instantly go to
True.
blood sacrifice.
Yeah, I agree. But out of fear, she's just turning around and going, hey, take him. I don't want him. Take him.
So here's another one. Barty Crouch Jr. So
that's
he's
Slughorn's son.
Yeah.
Not Slughorn's son.
I think so, yeah.
It's Barty Crouch's son who's good. He is the Minister of Magic.
Yeah, but his son Junior. So I think he was a Slytherin, from what I've researched. And from his description, he is evil, vengeful, cruel, manipulative, and extremely intelligent. So that gives him the ability to easily manipulate people. And even during the Tri-Wizard tournament, when he was trying to get Harry to join in the games, and that led Harry to Lord Voldemort in the graveyard. And I kind of liked him because he was played by David Tennant.
He's a very, very good actor, and what he does is very bad. But it just shows that it doesn't run in the family. His dad is the Minister of Magic. He basically guards and protects everyone who's a wizard. He's the main minister of all magic out there. And it just shows that even though they are
I understand
family,
that
they can turn bad without
it. But you just said, like, it doesn't run in some family, and that's true, but this isn't about like running in the family. This is about like if someone is in Slytherin because a bad person, and he was in Slytherin, so he became a bad person. He became the creepiest person who was introduced in the film.
But not all Slytherin turn bad. Snape, Draco, Narcia, they were all good in the end. They all chose the right path.
Okay, what about Lord Voldemort?
Okay, Lord Voldemort was a given.
So we all know what he's done. He's he's just a ruthless, creepy, pale villain
with no nose.
It was a bit weird about that.
He is a bit scary, I won't lie. he's got his methods and they're all completely wrong, and he goes for them and there's completely no way of saying that. But it's almost as if he starts the reign of bad Slytherins, because there was no Dark Lord before him. There were no Death Eaters before him. He begins it all. He starts it off in the school and expands it. So before then, Slytherins were living fine. He started the bad reputation and made it seem as if all Slytherins are evil when they're not. But because of him, there's a bad stereotype going on around about him.
Okay, you just made me think about my 2 points. So the first one is that all the Death Eaters that appeared in the films, they all come from Slytherin.
Not all of them, I don't think. We've got Peter Pettigrew, who
Okay,
is...
besides one.
Hang on.
But they all come
Ooh.
from Slytherin. That's what I've
Yeah.
know, and it says on the internet.
Okay, nearly all were from Slytherin House. However, there are recruits from Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff.
Really?
So yeah,
Hufflepuff is like happy club. Why would they join?
it is. But it's not all happy. Do you remember Gilderoy Lockhart? He was a Ravenclaw, not a Hufflepuff. But the guy who in the third film, I think The Chamber of Secrets, he's the one that everyone's obsessed with. He's got all these amazing stories. He's the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher.
The guy, he was played by like the ginger actor.
He doesn't necessarily become a Death Eater, but he's not a good person. Like, he turns evil basically.
But he didn't become a Death Eater, did he?
He didn't become a Death Eater, but he's another example of a bad person from a different house. It doesn't matter what house you're in, you can become a bad person either way. He basically met loads of adventurers after their travels, took all their stories, made them tell him all their stories, and then wipes their memories, and then takes the stories for himself so that he can become famous and sell all these books. And he tries to do the same to Harry and Ron, but because he uses Ron's wand, it backfires on him because Ron's wand is broken. So he loses his own memory, and we're lucky that he did use the wrong wand. Otherwise, well, we'd have no book and no movies. But Harry and Ron both would have lost their memory, and he would have carried on doing what he was doing.
Okay, and to my second point, you know how you said that when Voldemort or Tom Riddle entered Hogwarts, he basically started a bad reputation for Slytherin. That's not exactly true, because if we remember, the first ever Slytherin was Salazar Slytherin. Now, from what we've learned from the books and the films, he is known with he possesses great cunning and ambition. So he is described as power hungry, and he won't stop at nothing to get what he wants. So in the second film, Salazar wanted Hogwarts to be a place for purebloods, but because the other 3 wizards rejected his request, he created the Chamber of Secrets, which held a monster that soon killed Muggle-Borns. I mean, from listening from that, kind of tells that he was gonna do like a speed killing of young students because they want purebloods. So technically, he kind of already started the bad reputation of Slytherin House, if that makes sense.
He does create the prejudice for the house, and that's why most Slytherins are pureborns. But he wasn't exactly like Voldemort. The reason he does it is because he dislikes Muggle-Borns, and he wanted to keep Hogwarts as a completely just wizard pureblood place. He didn't believe Muggle-Borns were worth training because that was what was the mindset back then. if you weren't a pure blood, then you weren't worth it in a way. He
Okay,
just
but hold
wanted
on,
to keep it
they were
pure-blooded.
kind of the same. They are the same because for one point they kill people. Voldemort, like he kills people who don't follow him or are going up against him. Wow, Salazar Slytherin, he well, like I said, he created a giant snake that goes out at night and kills young students. That's kind of like Umbridge, but like she does it worse because she tortures them painfully. But still, I mean, they do things like Snape as well. They all kind of hurt their own students.
Yeah, I agree. He's didn't have the right headspace on, but he wasn't as bad as Voldemort. He still wanted to teach kids how to become the best wizards they can. He wanted to build this massive castle where they'd all be safe in. He just wanted to keep it specifically to wizards of pure blood. And although he doesn't go about the best means towards it, he didn't go and kill thousands and thousands of people like Voldemort did. He didn't recruit a massive army like Voldemort did. He didn't destroy everything of the wizarding world like Voldemort did.
Okay, but saying like because he doesn't want the school to be filled with Muggle-Borns, that proves that he's kind of prejudiced towards Muggles as well.
Yeah.
So
he was prejudiced,
even
but it doesn't necessarily make him bad, like evil,
if
like
someone's
Voldemort
prejudiced
was.
against someone,
True, but
because of
it doesn't make you a great
reason.
person. It doesn't make you a great person, but it doesn't make you evil like Voldemort was.
Well, would you say Hitler isn't evil because he was prejudiced against
Hitler was, but Hitler was more like Voldemort. I think we're getting a bit too deep into this. Maybe move on to the next character before this gets into a bad different debate and I start becoming something I'm
done
not.
with all my points. I'm done with all my points. Yeah, but still, I think mainly, like, maybe not all of them, but definitely like 98% of those who do go to Slytherin are gonna become bad.
I don't think so, because it shows that they're not. We've got Narcia, we've got Draco, we've got Scorpius or something. I think that's Draco's son. He's a Slytherin as well. We've got Snape, we've got I think Crab and Goyle or just Crab, actually. It might just be Crab.
Crab and Goyle, yeah.
I think Goyle does turn out to be pretty bad. They were bullies, but they weren't evil wizards. You know, we had bullies in other houses as well. James, Sirius, and Lupin all bullied Snape, and they were all in Gryffindor. It doesn't matter what house you're in, bullies still went around. Cedric was a Hufflepuff, and he surrounded himself with not great people. They would kind of tease Harry and not completely bully Harry, but they would constantly tease him and make comments. And he was a Hufflepuff, and they're meant to be the kindest.
I mean, it just depends on your personality.
That is true. And most houses are personality based. That's how they do it. But it shows that it's not you, like your house, that does it. It's you. Just because you're sorted in Slytherin doesn't mean you're going to be a bad person. Just because you're sorted into Gryffindor doesn't mean you're going to be brave. Because you're Hufflepuff doesn't mean you're going to be kind. And because you're a Ravenclaw doesn't mean you're going to be smart.
Yeah, I know, but like what the hat says, like it's what you choose, or like what Dumbledore says to Harry, like it's who we choose to be.
Exactly.
Like, because we don't, the hat doesn't choose for us. We choose, and it just announces. But I think when people like saying like if I wish to be in Slytherin, like maybe I'm probably want to be very achievable. I want to get things that I want.
Yeah,
but I think like some people forget that
strong leader. You'd be
maybe, but I think people forget like in Slytherin. I think I don't know. I just feel like they don't kind of like care about the consequences. I think they just focus on their own goals,
But you
like
could
their
say the
own self
same
needs
about
and others.
Harry, Ron, and Hermione, because they snuck out in the middle of the night to go look at books in the library to go discover things. They didn't care about the consequences. Well, Hermione
No,
did,
no, no, no.
but
They were
Ron and
trying to save the
Hermione did.
school. They were trying to save people.
They were trying to know more about it, but they were still breaking the rules and going against everything for their own needs. Harry sneaks out of Hogwarts to go on a day trip to Hogsmeade without permission with his cloak in a secret underground tunnel, and he
No,
doesn't
that's
care about
because
the
his
consequences.
parents were idiots. They were crazy.
That's true.
Fat
That is
people.
true. And he couldn't get it signed, but it's the fact that he didn't get it signed and he wasn't allowed out for his own safety, and he still went against that because of the consequences.
Okay, but for Slytherin, like for Malfoy,
Majority of the Slytherin.
no, he went like in the first film. He was up at night because he was sneaking around. He followed Harry and his friends to Hagrid's, and he only did it because he was trying to get someone in trouble. See, there's two types of when you're breaking rules, for the right reason and for the wrong reason. Harry and the others kind of did it for the right reason.
But they still done it regardless of the consequences. We never find out why Draco's actually out at that night because he's in the dungeons. So there's no way he would have been able to see them sneaking out from like the top tower. So he must have been out for other reasons, the same as they're out for other reasons. We never know what he's actually out for. And then he sees them on his way back to his place and he wonders where they're going. And then he actually goes to get them in trouble and tell them off. And even though that's not a good thing, and he kind of sneaks himself out, he still goes by the rules, even though he is out and he wants them to get them in trouble.
But he kind of enjoys the pleasure of getting some people in trouble. Like you could just see that smirk like that.
Yeah, I think it's more of the fact that he's been brought up needing to be the best. His dad doesn't want anything to do with him unless he's the best wizard in his class,
And
unless
that's
he's
in
getting the
every
best grade.
Slytherin.
No, not every Slytherin, more just Draco because of the way he's been brought up, but not all tries
maybe
to be.
that's what he likes. Doesn't, even if he was brought up with that, maybe he likes that kind of feeling, likes to think himself.
But we see in the Half-Blood Prince that trying to please his father basically tears him apart. He goes into the bathroom and has a massive mental breakdown, completely crying, sobbing, having a full-on panic attack, trying to do all of this just to please his father, knowing it's completely wrong and he doesn't want to do it, but if it means that his father will finally love him, then he's willing to risk it. And then Harry's the one that goes in completely angry and starts and does not an unforgivable curse, but a bad curse on him, which literally makes Draco bleed out almost to death. If Snape didn't come in at that time, Draco would have died.
Okay,
but Harry still throws that curse.
Okay, true. Like that was a stupid move Harry made, but he was angry because Draco like cursed a young innocent girl to be like the hexes, I think, and also Draco was the one who made the first attack on Harry when Harry confronted him.
Yeah, because he was scared, but the only attacks he threw were ones that would disarm him. They weren't going to fully cause him to bleed out and almost die. Those curses that he was throwing were very small, minimal damage, would make his one fly away kind of thing, rather than this is going to kill you kind of thing. And although Harry didn't know it, he took that risk anyways, reading a curse out of a random book, and was like, I know this is going to do damage. Go ahead, no matter the risk.
Right, that was a lot of names. Right, thanks guys for listening. That was the end of our Harry Potter debate, but don't forget to check out some of our other debates, like last month's debate on Bell's Stockholm Syndrome. Do you agree? Do you not? Or maybe should T'Challa be recast? We'll see you guys next time, but in the meantime, don't forget to let us know down in the comments what you guys think. Whose side are you on? What other Harry Potter debates do you want to see? Okay, so subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. And
We'll see you next time.
we'll see you next time. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.